If you want to stay in the same situation, then continue doing what you're doing.
You guys can get on board and go down this 4-lane highway and just rock it out, and you don't have to have a decade of learning process.
Meet people where they are. If you want to have all types of clients, be a Rubik's Cube. Meet them where they want to be met.
We have to know our numbers. We have to know how much we want, and then how many deals do I have to close to make that a reality?
What I want to do over the next half hour or so is give you clarity on the items that really are going to generate money for you and allow you to do the things you want to do. So
if you're not currently being coached by the people in the industry that are doing it at the highest level, then you're working too hard to get there.
This is the Next Level Loan Officers Podcast with Kenneth Travis and Sean Zalmanoff.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of our Next Level Loan Officers Podcast. I am Sean Zalmanoff. I'm joined by Shane Kidwell. Shane, how the heck are you today, bro?
Dude, it's sunny in my mind. It's not sunny here in Seattle, but I'm doing good. I'm living the dream, man.
I really enjoyed the other day when I got to see you and that brightness just shining in through your window.
Man, once a year we get this vitamin D and it's just glorious.
It's just glorious. Hey, so friends, if you are listening to this podcast for the first time, if you're listening to our podcast for the 57th or 58th time, please do everyone a favor. Go to your favorite place that you're listening to, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play, and hey, give us a 5-star review. Our mission is to move the loan officer industry forward and make us relevant in the future and help other loan officers find us by giving a 5-star review and leaving a little comment about what this is doing for you and your business. We would appreciate that. And today, our podcast is brought to you by the Mortgage Success Academy. So something that we have in Next Level, and for $1, you get a 7-day trial. If you just go to $1msa.com, you sign up, and everything inside of our Mortgage Success Academy. This is a $200 a month platform that you get to have everything in full access for just $1 for 7 days. We want to deliver results in advance for you, which is why we have Miss Corrina Carter on the call today with us. Corrina, how are you?
Great. And fortunately for me, it's 70 here, Shane. So.
I'm just waiting for somebody to take a jab. So I just appreciate you getting it out of the way early, Corrina.
I lived in Portland a couple years, twice in my life, so I feel your pain.
You know the
exactly.
Portland and the orange hair, it's all making sense now.
Oh, no way. So I'm Corrina Carter. I'm the CEO of CMS Mortgage Solutions, Inc., and we're located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And fortunately for us, we've got 70-degree weather almost all week this week, which is very odd for the first week in February.
Yeah. So 70 degrees in St. Louis on Sunday, and we're about to get 3 or 4 inches of snow tonight. So.
That's what I love about the Midwest. We can go from shorts to parkas in an afternoon. Yeah.
That's how the weather changes. Yeah. So Corrina, you have been in the mortgage industry since 1997, going on 23 years strong. That's it's been quite a ride, huh?
23 years strong. That's correct. So July of 1997, I got into the mortgage business just by default. And then I became a mortgage broker in 20 and opened my own company in 2005. So August 5th of this year, 2020, will be our 15-year anniversary.
Awesome.
For you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Being in the mortgage business for 23 years is a testament in itself. I'm myself starting my 19th year right now. But you have had your own business and sustained your own brokerage company for quite some time. And man, I know that I was a broker until the Great Recession, and I made a few changes in my world at that time. It definitely was a different world for us as brokers when the Great Recession hit, and I had to learn that 7-letter word that is the worst 4-letter word in my life called an overlay, because I didn't know that it existed before then. And so Corrina, just tell us a little bit about your evolution. You know, you had some different times, and so you created a whole entire another product to sustain yourself during the course of that time. Tell us what you did and how you survived and really thrived through it all.
Sure, absolutely. So I'll start just briefly from the beginning. 05 to 09, of course, I had about 32 loan officers in 4 offices. And that quickly went from 9, 10 down to 3 people, me and one other loan officer and an admin person. And we went from 3,500 square feet and 4 offices to 1,200 square feet. And we had not such great location, put it that way. So we did have to downsize a good little bit. And then from that point, I decided in 09-10, kind of forecast. I feel like that's one of my good strong points is forecasting just a tad. I'm not perfect at it, but forecasting just a tad on what we need to do. And seeing the volume go down, seeing the lenders go out, watching the implodometer, doing all those things, what am I going to do? One of the things I was really probably great at, but bad at, and in some cases was when loan officers came on board with me, I made them do their work, meaning they learned how to run DU, they learned how to do LP, they learned how to do all those other things. And I didn't sustain a lot of loan officers for a long period of time because they went to the next shop that didn't make them do all this stuff. Within 9 months of opening my shop, we had our FHA. We were the only broker locally that had our FHA, which they told me would take 5 years. So it took us 9 months. So I made them learn all these programs and products, which a lot of brokers didn't. So in 9, when things started getting slow, I said, okay, I'm going to turn this into what we call a business. I'm going to teach everybody how to become a proper loan officer. And then the NMLS came out, the SAFE Act was passed, 08-09. How can I get in on this and figure out how I can sustain my family just living and just being able to pay bills? And one of those things was just being able to sustain an income during that time when we were closing 2 to 3 deals for the whole company a month in 10 and 11. So I got NMLS approved as a provider. Originally at that time, they weren't approving any mortgage companies at that time to be able to become a provider. Even though I created a totally separate entity, it's a consultant firm, which like you guys similar did with your coaching and different things, you keep everything separate. So it's a total separate entity. And in regards to that, I still had to disclose, hey, I have a mortgage company. So I went through a little bit more background than some people did, had to sign a waiver stating I wasn't doing this to recruit, wasn't doing this to bring a whole bunch of loan officers on board. I passed the test and I got approved. I created my 20-hour course, which got NMLS approved. And I ran around and taught that from 10, 11, 12, and part of 13. And that was one way I sustained and was able to keep my doors open. So I suffered from laryngitis a lot. I took some acid reflux pills trying to keep my voice up. I taught 3 weeks a month, 3 days a week, and hired an assistant to do all the recording. And again, it brought in that second level of income that I needed. And by that time, people were saying, hey, come in and work for our company. You can train all our people, or you can run this division, run that division. And it still never made sense to me to give up my company to do that. I was just really passionate that one day, just praying one day I was going to get my family involved. None of them wanted to be involved, but just praying one day. So fast forward, my son is my operations manager, my daughter's my accountant, and everybody here is in some form or fashion, not blood related to me, but been with me for 8 or 10 years now.
And now you're back up to 75 people working for you in 27 offices?
No, 29 people and 4 offices.
Nice.
So not that far yet. And I don't know if I want to go that far. We're really, really invested this year, and they're really getting tired of me saying it, but I'm really invested in building up my people that I have. We've really done a good job of it the past 3 years of things we've implemented. So the next 2 years, that's really what I want to do. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 more loan officers, but yeah, that's it.
That's a great point. Shane, how often have you seen people so focused on growth that they miss the bread and butter, which is the family that they've created in their work environment, and had great people leave because of it?
Yeah, Corrina, I love what you, like, I actually wrote down a couple of numbers, 30 to 3, 3 to 30. I love how you basically went from 30 people down to 3. I call that a strategic, well, sometimes strategic, sometimes it just happens, but a strategic shift. And then you created this training program, which you didn't say it, but I'm assuming this was a revenue source for you to kind of fill in the gap where you weren't making money in your broker business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were closing 2 to 3 loans as a company a month. And I was doing 3 classes a month. at 20 hours apiece. And sure, it was a revenue source for me. Absolutely.
Well, which I love about this, and guys and gals, if you're on the call, one of the things that's really important in our business is to get as much juice out of the berry as you can.
Mhm.
And if you can't get dollars out of the mortgage, get dollars out of the mortgage industry, right? And so what happens, and Sean and I, we were coached by an amazing individual a couple years ago that shifted our perspective to look outside the box and look at it from different angles. I love that that's what you did. You looked outside the box, you looked at it from a different angle. You had some tenacity to be able to do that 3 weeks a month is incredible. I speak once or twice a month and my throat starts to get sore. So that's tenacity, which I think is really important as we go through another shift in our business. And I agree with Sean. Like I wrote down here, it's family run. And like, that's a big thing for me in my organization is like, everybody is like family. Like I was out to dinner with my wife last night and I was like, man, I just love my people like family. It's so important to sustain what, storms can come into our business, and to do that well, everybody's got to be like family. I think you'd probably agree.
Right. I 100% agree. And they become family. We live and work together 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week sometimes. So you treat others as you want to be treated, right?
Yeah. Well, Corrina, okay, so I got a question. So you're going through this shift in your business where you're like, oh crap, 30 to 3, no money coming in the door. Like that takes a pretty strong personality to pick yourself up, say, I got this. I'm going to like go generate revenue in a different way. Talk me through kind of the shift in your mind, what you went through to get to the point where because a lot of people hold on to that boat while it sinks and then they sink with the boat, and like for you didn't do that. So what was the shift for you? How did you make that transition?
Excuse me. One of the things I looked back at and thought about was, why did I open my business in the first place? And I was very passionate, and I opened my business to have affordable mortgages for our local community. So I was extremely passionate about my services. I was extremely passionate about getting my FHA license right away, doing things just a little different than other people did. So in that course, I've always been different. I was a single mom at 16. I graduated from high school at Beaverton in Oregon, right outside of Portland. I was the only senior with a 2-year-old and 2 jobs in my own apartment. So I've kind of always had to figure out what works for me and what that need really was. And for me, it was not giving up on my family and that extra little, not even ego, but really pride. Like I started this for a reason. Somewhere it's going to lead me to where I want to be or need to be. And I really believe, I'll be 52 this year, that I am at the place exactly where I was supposed to be, to the point where I'll just share real quick with you guys is that 6 years ago when I was teaching that class 3 days a week and I was sweating in a hotel one time, not feeling good. And I was like, I've got to go out there and give it my all. I've got 65 people. I'm on my second day. I got a day and a half to go and I got to get through this. And I went to bed and I woke up and I had just an epiphany. When I was 12 years old, I was in the principal's office. And my principal told me, I won't go into the background of why I was there, but I was in the principal's office.
Oh, come on. What'd you do?
And I was a very rebel kid. So people don't believe I am who I am today because I was not that person at 12 and 14 and 16. So we all make mistakes. And the principal told me, Corrina, if you follow your path, go to college and become a math professor. That's what you're good at. I will pay for your college if you go to school and you teach math. And I was like, 1, I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm sitting in a principal's office. And 2 is I'm not going to college. I'm in your office. What are you kidding me? I woke up, 6 years ago teaching 65 students. And what are we teaching them? Mortgages, which I'm not teaching them all the 20 hours on math, but that's the emphasis of my life, was passionate about teaching and training. And I was like, how did he know at 12? And at that time, it was one of the things just led me. I'm just not going to give up. Somehow I was destined to be where I am right now. And that is supporting 4 generations, having a good family business, and empowering the people that I come across and learning from everybody that I come across. So it just was, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that except for that dream. And it made sense for me to keep pushing through and making my own way. So that's one of the things I tell everybody about. You don't have to look like somebody else, you know?
Corrina, like I love your story.
Love
First of
that.
all, like one of the things we talk about inside of Next Level with everybody that's involved with us, or if you heard us speak before, is knowing what you want and knowing why it matters. And there are two different sets of people that I meet in my life all the time, and they almost always fall into one category or the other. And it all goes back to my favorite quote and something that I just live by every day, whether it's with my wife, my children, my team in the office here. But life gets better when you get better. You know, when you're
Oh, yeah.
18 years old and you have a 2-year-old and you have 2 jobs, it'd be really easy to, you know, make a whole lot of other decisions and not have 2 jobs and not take care of your child and not graduate high school. And there's many people that are in challenging positions that are not near as challenging as that, and choose an easier way out of just being like, I'll let somebody else deal with that. Or, you know, and just, you chose to get better. You played the cards that you dealt yourself and that were dealt to you, and you took action, and you're running a really successful mortgage business right now. You had a downturn that you found another way to survive, and man, now you're thriving again to the point that, you know, you can't even teach classes anymore because of the way your business is growing and running.
I know my peers are hating me right now because, like I said, I just got 2 emails this week. Are you going to teach us here? Are you going to teach us here? And I'm like, no. We went from 312 loans in 18 to 605 in 19, and
Nice.
we're on target to close almost 1,000 this year. So I may not be able to squeeze in teaching this year either.
Hey, you know what? Like, just like Shane was talking about, that shifting when the business is there, and closing 300 more loans pays a little bit more than doing a few CE classes does. Hey, one thing I'd like you to expand upon a little bit for us.
Sure.
Shane and I, right before we started talking with you, you said not every path is the same. And, you know, just if you could dial that in for the mortgage business a little bit and share with the people listening, like, you know, what would you tell a loan officer who is just getting in the business? What would you tell a loan officer who's been in it for 10 years? And just what are some golden nuggets that have had so much success in your business throughout your career, and especially right now in 2020, that moves the needle for you?
Right. So my whole class I do, everybody loves the way I teach because it's all by example and I'm in the trenches. So I'll share with you in 99, 2000, 2001, I worked from home. That was not popular then. You were not really a professional if you worked from home, right? Now, guess where everybody works from? Home.
Yep.
So you see, not everybody's path is the same. So you pick the mentors that you relate to. Look at your resources. We have so much more resources out here now, but also don't get confused. Don't make your path. I mean, we always say, you know, don't recreate the wheel. Absolutely don't recreate the wheel. However, swipe and adapt what you can, and you use that in your business, and then make your own path. Don't try to twin it. Don't try to be someone's twin or do that, because you won't ever look the same. I mean, again, I always share the other story is that I really don't think I made it until I became a grandma. And then when I became a grandma, all the banker dudes were listening to me because they said, respect, she's older, she's a grandma. So, you know, when I was at home and I was a single mom, the only single mom in my neighborhood with a $300,000 house, my kids thought you could work at Hardee's and afford a $300,000 house because I was working from home. It seemed easy to them. And now they know, because they're in the mortgage business, it is not easy. But people didn't respect you as much. They felt like you had to have that big 5,000 square foot office, the fuzzy rug, and all those things going on. Even the larger companies are downsizing right now in the office space itself. So you don't have to be exactly like anybody else. And this is an opportune time for anybody to, one, get into the mortgage business and make their own path. And millennials are doing that. Us old schoolers, I just had this conversation, feel like some of us are building an income around our lifestyle and not going for anything else. So meaning if we're going to settle for an income between 60 and 120 grand, they're building their business around that and they're settling for that. A lot of loan officers I've come across and not reaching for anything else. But the new ones coming into the business are creating their own path and they're finding the digital resources, the tech, the gig economy, and they're not afraid to spend a dollar to do it. I get a little nervous because of my downtime in 10, 11, and 13. And I have someone pushing me behind to stroke that check. Keep on going, stroke the check. We need this resource. We're going to try this out. We're going to do this. And sometimes we need that push. But, make your own path. Don't try and twin it. Be yourself. And, this year, last year, authentic. Of course, everybody who knows me knows I'm just me. But, just really, I pour into everybody what I can. And as much as I know about this business, I'm not perfect, nor am I the biggest educator out there. But I feel like that I really want to help other loan officers, whether they're with my company or other companies. I get calls from all my peers every week that I have trained over 2,500 loan officers. And they call me and say, how did I do this wrong? Or what did I structure this? Can you close this deal for me? And we'll walk it through and I'll say, fix this, go to your underwriter, do this. And they'll end up closing it and call me back and tell me thank you. Or I have another broker buddy called me. I'm getting ready to go through my audit. What do I look for? What do I need to do? And I said, what are you going to charge me? I'm not going to charge you anything. Do this, come in. Okay, let's go to dinner and it's done. So, it's all about helping each other. And there's so many resources out there, but I think it's just about creating your own path right now and what works for you.
Corrina, I want to commend you. I love this story, and I gravitate towards it because I wrote down a couple things. First and foremost, be you, right? Like you're not, and I love you said, don't be a twin. That's one of the things in Next Level. We actually have a whole series around You Inc. Like be your own brand, and like don't let somebody else, big company, little company, dictate who you are. I love to. One of the things I like. There's a level of confidence that you have, and it's a swagger, but it's a healthy swagger. But what you mentioned that was interesting is like, you have to have the confidence of a 5-year-old. And what I mean by that is 5-year-olds will do things without worrying about what other people think.
Yes.
Now we get into the mortgage business, we have downturns, we lose money. Pretty soon our confidence is shot because we're having that PTSD back to the past, right?
Yes.
One of the things that I noticed with you is you have the confidence of a 5-year-old. You just keep doing your stuff and then couple that with tenacity. And you have this really unique combination of brand, tenacity, and confidence that will allow you to stay relevant for as long as you want to keep building your business, which for those of you listening, if you're not in that place where Corrina is, I would start with being you. Like figure out, like don't look at what everybody else is doing and put on their suit and do what they do. Be you and just live into that. And then understand that like you're going to fall down, because one of the things with you I noticed is you survived and then you thrived, right? Like the thriving comes after you survive. You made it through, you dusted yourself off, like, okay, I can do this. And then you started to thrive, but that always comes because you were surviving before that.
Right. Absolutely. And I really feel like, a big push out there now is brand yourself. But if you interview any of my loan officers, they will tell you from the time they sit down with me on an interview or come on board, I ask them, how can I help you be more of you and brand yourself? I don't care about CMS. That's going to come. But what I want to know is where do you want to be and what do you want to look like to other people? So some of the loan officers I brought on have a second business or have a second tier of their life or their family life. And their emphasis is, 50-50 or what they want to do. I don't push them to be something that they're not. And that is also hard to teach in the corporate world. And you only really learn that by learning your people. And you have to really learn your people and what they like and what they don't like. And that is something that you do have to kind of be open to a mentor or teaching or 100% coaching now, because you're not going to get that without experience.
It's interesting that you mentioned that in the corporate world, because there's some companies that get that and there's some companies that don't. And the companies that are going to be here in 5 and 10 years are the ones who are not afraid of their loan officers, embracing change and being their own brand. So that's commendable. There's one other thing I want to mention, and I'm not trying to plug Next Level, but I'm going to plug Next Level a little bit. So we have these playbooks that we've developed, and you're talking about not every path is the same and don't twin. Like that's everything that we saw. And one of the reasons that we developed our coaching platform was because many of them were just copies of another. Like you had to justify to the NMLS creators. You weren't just in it to recruit loan officers. And so we develop a playbook for loan officers to find out the things that really work inside of their business and then pour gas on those things. So if they make all their money through texting or they make all their money through videos, just do that. And you don't need to make X amount of phone calls or have this many meetings, or if you make all your money from meetings, just do those. And that was one of the things that we really developed when we came together to empower loan officers.
I agree 100%. I picked up a loan officer just this summer because the company she was with did not empower her to do that, or did not want her to do that.
So Corrina, do you have an email or anything that you want to share with, or should they find you on Facebook? How should somebody reach out to you if they want to reach out to you?
Sure, absolutely. My email is ccarter@cmsmortgage.com, or you can visit me on corrinacarter.com as well too, just to learn more about me and more about my journey.
Hey, Corrina, I just thought of a brand for you that I want to speak into you. So you're a bootstrap kind of gal. I think you're the bootstrap broker.
The bootstrap broker? Oh my gosh.
But I want to thank you for your time. I mean, it's so inspiring to hear. My mom was a single mom. My dad died when I was young. Like single parents, like there's something about them that they just have a tenacity that comes through. Like the reality is you had no other option but to succeed because you had a mouth to feed. And I love that mentality of that tenacity and how you created new industries where you saw one not necessarily working. And so, man, if I was in Virginia and I was looking for a place to work, we'd have a lot of fun together. So I really appreciate you coming on and just being so authentic.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Shane, for joining us today. Friends and loan officers, if you are looking to find us and come to our next live event, you can go to loanofficerevents.com and see where we're going to be next. There is a lot of cool spots that we're going to be hitting this year. It's a short plane ride from wherever you are to come hang out with us. We guarantee you that we will deliver more in results than we take in payment from you. If you want to download our app, if you're listening to a podcast, some other place, and you want access to more, if you text the words Next Level to 36260, you'll find our podcast and much more free content for you to download there. Shane, I appreciate you, bro. It's always good to see you. Corrina, I don't think our paths are done crossing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody listening, have a great and awesome rest of your day.
Thank you very much.